Frankenstein, and we're gonna make him come alive! Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel CCUK Resin, and I'm excited for this one. It's going to be part of the Halloween collaboration, which is being hosted, I believe, by Claire from clairescraftycorner, so make sure you watch all of the videos. And I bet you can't guess what it's going to be doing. So I've just been to the range and hobbycraft, and I saw this and I couldn't resist. It's just a plaster of Paris busk of Frankenstein, and we're gonna make him come alive, hopefully, in this video. So there's going to be two parts to it. Now, this is just plaster of Paris, and it'd be amazing if I had this mold to do it in eco-pour, but this cost me about £5, guys, and I think that is a good value for a piece like this. Now, I want to make it special so that I can use it time and time again at Halloween. So there's going to be a couple of parts to this technique. The first one, I've got some chrome powders from letsresin, and I just want to brush these around. Now, the idea is here, I'm going to brush it first, then I'm going to be doing a resin pour on top, and I'm going to be using the fast cure resin from Apex because I know it cures in 3 hours. And it is currently 11:40 on the day of the collaboration. I need to get this poured, it needs to get cured, it needs to get edited, ready for a premiere tonight. So time is against me. Perfect use of fast cure resin from Apex. But before I get into the resin, I'm going to just brush everywhere. And if you've not seen it before, this is the fast cure resin from Apex, and it cures literally 2.5–3 hours. So it's amazing stuff. And if you want a discount, use the discount code CCUK and get yourself some money off at apexresin.co.uk. So I've just tested a little bit of this chrome powder on the inside to see what would happen if I just rub it into the plaster of Paris. And as you can see, it doesn't really bond, but it just creates a bit of a murkiness, which I think once it's covered in resin will look pretty cool. Hopefully. I've just got some on his nose. But I've got loads of different greens, because for me, Frankenstein should be green. And as I say, first thing I'm going to do, I've got this beautiful green chrome powder from letsresin. I'm going to try and get that around most of the skin. And all I'm going to do, get some, as I say, and just brush it around. Now, I don't expect it to completely colour the piece, but I think when the resin's poured over it, it is going to leave a little bit of a shine underneath for anywhere that I've missed. And you can see I'm not doing it very neatly. I just want to make sure I've got a bit of it going around absolutely everywhere. And I think we'll see what this really looks like once the resin's poured on, you know? And it's just going to, I think, just add an extra dimension to this little Frankenstein piece. And I think it's going to be cool. So look, this is how I'm doing it. It's literally not a care in the world. I just want to make sure that everywhere is covered. And I think what's going to happen when the resin comes over it, you're going to see some of these chrome effects come through. And it's a big piece, so it is going to take a little bit of powder, but I don't mind. Just going around. I'm leaving the hair deliberately because I want that to be a different colour. And as you can see, it's not really taking at the minute, but I can still see that bits of it are adhering in certain areas and not in others. So it's going to be interesting, but I just think this might add an extra dimension once that resin's poured. And it means I'm not starting with a completely white base as well. Now, I could have sprayed this with hairspray, which would have made it adhere better. But to be honest, I just want to see what will happen if I don't. And if I pour the resin straight over it, almost loose powder is what I'm going for here. And we're going to see what effect it creates, if any. And as I say, it's a big piece. So hopefully this will just give me a bit of a patterning in the background for anywhere that I might miss with that resin. And it's going to take a couple of minutes. So I'm going to speed this up now. And I'm happy with that. Just got a rough dirtying, I would say. So now's the fun part for me, which is going to be mixing up the resin. And again, this could all have been a waste of time. I don't know. We'll find out. Now, this is going to get messy. So I've put it in my G3 base. Hopefully that will collect any resin that just pools in there, and I can use that in smaller jewelry pieces. But that's what we're looking like so far. A mess. So now you may remember from my ostrich egg lamp video as well, I used a special kitchen utensil, otherwise known as a potato masher, to stand the egg on. And I'm going to do the same for this, but I want to make sure it gets everywhere. So before I do that and just pour it over the top, which I am going to do, I'm going to have to pour some around the sides to make sure that some of this resin goes in every nook and cranny and crevice. And I'm going to do this as a dirty pour. So we're going to get messy. And that's part of the fun of Halloween for me. So just going to mix up, probably I'm looking at it, I think 6 ounces will be enough. So I'm going to do 6 ounces of the fast cure resin and we'll be right back. So I've probably poured far too much resin here, guys, but I'm using 300 ml of this fast cure resin from Apex, just because I know it's going to cure within 3 hours, which hopefully means I'm going to have time to edit this video and get it out for the premiere tonight. And that is a great use for this resin. As I say, if you're in a bit of a rush and you need to just get something done. So I'm just going to mix it round and then we'll be right back. And then the key is going to be here. I'm only going to have 20 minutes working time with this resin. So it's going to be hopefully not going to take me more than 10 minutes to mix these colours and 10 minutes to pour. So we'll see in a minute. So here we go, guys. And I've just mixed up, as I say, 300 ml. I don't think I'm going to need that much, but again, I'd rather have a little bit too much than not enough. So just going to get my pots ready and we're going to try and mix all of these colours. Now, they're all different shades of green, except for one. I've gone for a Tahitian Pearl, which is almost a black sparkly metallic one as well from Creating Blue. And then I've got a couple of different chameleon glitters as well that we're going to dirty pour in as well. So I'm going to try and pour this resin out evenly. And again, this fast cure, you do get bubbles in it, guys, because it's really thick, but that's why it cures so quickly. So I don't mind that. So I think I should have enough to pretty much fill these. And then we're going to pour them back into the big pot and we're going to dirty pour, which I think is going to give us a really cool effect. A bit like, I don't know if you've seen the flow art ones where they do those teddy bears with dirty pours, but that's what kind of gave me the idea for this. And then when I saw it in the shop for a £5, I couldn't refuse because I think I can make it look like it's worth a lot more than a £5. And that's the beauty of it for me with resin. You don't have to use an awful lot. I mean, this is quite a bit of resin I'm using here. Anything spare, if I've got spare at the end, I will always pour into a drip mold so it doesn't get wasted anyway. But the beauty of it for me is I can take something like this, which cost me a £5, and for me, I can make it worth, I don't know, probably 100 quid in my mind for a big piece like this, just by being artistic, just by having a bit of flair and seeing what we get, you know, and that is the beauty of resin for me. So I don't mind that there's a bit of clear left in there because that's going to actually help with that dirty pour technique. So here's my colours. So first thing I'm going to mix up, I've got 2 different greeny and greeny blue chameleon glitters. And I got these originally, I think it was from Temu, a set of 12. But I really like them. I've used them in frogs before. I don't know if you remember Disco Dave, but he had some of this in. And then this is the other one, which is a lighter green. And again, not measuring it out, but putting a decent amount in there so I know it's going to be covered. And I think that should be enough. Just a little bit more going in there. And I'm not going to mix those around just yet. I'm going to start off with my colours. So there's those. And this one's a bit of a, should I put it in or not? But it's one of my favourite greeny colours. And it's actually more of a turquoise, which is called Kingfisher from Creating Bloom. But wait till you see it, guys. It is absolutely stunning. So just going to get one of my cocktail sticks from the side, stir it around. Whatever's left on my stick will be enough to colour the resin. And again, you just want to stir it around, make sure that you've got good coverage and that everything is completely mixed. Scrape your sides, scrape your bottom, and then you're done. Now, again, it's 21 degrees in my house at the minute in the UK, so I've probably got maximum, I would say, 10 minutes working time left here. So this is why it's a bit of a rush process because I'm using that fast cure. But as I say, I need to get this video out and edited for tonight to be part of that collaboration with Claire, which I really wanted to do. But those of you that follow the channel know I've been on holiday recently for a week, know that I've been poorly, so I haven't got round to it yet. Next one's this lacewing, which again is more of a grass green, which is probably more of a Frankenstein colour. So let's just mix that round. And again, whatever's left on the stick will be enough to colour that resin. Here we go. So the idea here is I want everything to be mainly greens. I might come back at another time and change the colour of the head, the hair, but I don't think I will. I think I'm going to like it the way it is, because there is going to be a slight element of black in here in this Tahitian pearl that I'm going to be using as well, which is a metallic colour again from Create and Bloom. And if you've not checked out Lou from Create and Bloom, get over to her shop. She's got some amazing pigments. And she's really supportive of the whole community, so get over there. Now, this is that hummingbird, and I love this, guys. Absolutely stunning. It's a metallic-y colour, and it is beautiful, so I couldn't not put some of this in it as well. Here we go. And again, it doesn't take long, a couple of seconds, mixing it round, and it should be thoroughly mixed. Look at that for a colour, though. Stunning. So we're going to have this in as well. So this is going to be a bluey, greeny Frankenstein, but I think he's going to turn out amazing, hopefully. Now I'm getting ready to get messy as well, because to pour this around the sides and then get it on a stand, let's just say it's going to get messy, which is part of my favourite type of video. Next one, Everglade, which is a slightly lighter green. Look, I haven't even opened it. So let's just open that and put that to one side. If only there was an easier way to do this with pots when you haven't opened them. It goes absolutely everywhere, the pigment. There we go. Look at that on my glove. So I'm going to wipe my glove in a second. But let's just get these colours mixed while I can. What a mess. So here we go. This is a much lighter green, as you can see. But again, I think it'll give us a great contrast in the whole piece. So we've got, so far, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 different shades of green. And there's going to be one more shade of green. And then there's going to be that Tahitian pearl, which is like a black grey colour. But I am just going to quickly wipe this excess pigment off my glove if I can, because otherwise it's going to go everywhere. Look at this. Messy, messy resin art. The best kind. So the next one's Sherwood, which ironically, Sherwood Forest is just a couple of minutes away from my house. So beautiful dark green. Mixing it round. Whatever's left on the stick can go in there. So we get in there. And that's the thing, if I was using a standard cure, I'd have all the time in the world to do this. But because I'm using that fast cure, I've got to be fast, because I know I've only got 10 minutes for this to work. So, and I don't want a flash cure. So there's that beautiful Sherwood. And then the last one is going to be that Tahitian pearl, which is like a dark metallic grey black, which I absolutely love. There's that lid. And always put your lids back on things. That way, if you knock them over, you're not going to get it all over your floor. So this is that last one, which is Tahitian pearl. And it's like a metallic-y black. You'll see what I mean in a second. Again, just going to put metallic-y, blacky, charcoal-y grey, I would say. I'm going to put a little bit more in there because I do want this to stand out as well in there. And then let's mix it around. Look at that. Beautiful. So that is those colours. And we're going to see what happens in a minute. Whew. But I can feel the resin is starting to heat up, as I thought it would. So just always wipe your stick in between, and then you're ready to go again for next time. But this is a big, messy project, but there's no better kind, especially for part of a collaboration, guys. That's what collaborations are all about having fun and doing something you haven't done before. So let's mix in these chameleon glitters now. And again, exactly the same as the pigment paste, just mix it round and make sure it's thoroughly mixed in so that this is mixed in with that resin. Beautiful, look at them. And I can feel it, as I say, it's thickening up already. So once I add this all back in one cup as well, the next thing to think about is, guess what? It's going to heat up twice as quick because you're pouring it back into a bigger cup, bigger volume, more resin. So here we go. And I'm hoping I've timed this right. It's not starting to heat up yet. Well, it is a little bit, but not too much, hopefully. So what I'm going to do is just start my dirty pour. And there is that tiny bit of clear in there, that's fine. I'm going to start off with the Tahitian pearl. Half of it now. Then I think I'm going to go in with some of this glitter. Again, about half. Then I'm going to go in with this one. About half. And it doesn't really matter if you do these in the right order or not, to be fair, because they're all going to intermix when you pour it. And hopefully you're going to get a cool result. And let's pour that one in. The glitter's definitely thicker as well than the resin, so might have an impact. I don't know. And then let's just pour the rest in. The rest of that beautiful Tahitian pearl. Out you come. And then what I am going to do is anything spare that's left in these, once I'm done, I've got a skull drip mold that I'm trying to finish off. But hopefully this will finish it off. So again, there's that one. Lace wing. And this is what's hopefully going to create a bit of a pattern going around the whole thing. But again, I am conscious of time. So you can probably tell I'm doing this at a faster pace than I normally do. And it's just because I know I'm running out of time here. And the last thing I want here is a flash cure when I've spent all of that time mixing all of these up. And I want a great piece. I don't even know how this is going to actually stick to the plaster of Paris, because I've never done resin and plaster in Paris before. That's a first. Here we go. Especially in the crevices of the ears and things like that. Ooh, look at me go all the way around where I think it's going to struggle like that. And I'm hoping that once I lift it up, that's just going to help everything spread. And in fact, you might just go for it and rub it round. What do you think? Where's the potato masher when you need it? It's here. So here's that. Now, again, I'm just going to turn it around a little bit. We've got to remember the resin will be moving at this point, and I'm just going to go for it, guys. I'm going to stick it on here. Hope that it's going to balance reasonably evenly. There we go. And then we're going to turn him around so I can see his face. And we're just going to pour. Beautiful. I can already see it starting to drip around and off. Let's go on the head. In we go. And it only needs to be a thin covering on this whole piece, guys. And I'm deliberately doing it in this resiners tray because I know that the almost honeycomb effect on that mat underneath will make it really easy for me to clean after and just peel off the extra. And hopefully... Right, I've still got half of that resin left. Now, what I'm going to do is use my fingers here and really intermix it. So I know that the whole of this plaster of Paris is going to be covered. And then I'm going to come back and do the rest of the dirty pour. But this way, I'm making sure that the whole thing hopefully has a covering of this resin, which is what the end piece is going to look like. And it's looking stunning so far, these colours. But again, just using my fingers, getting in all those nooks and crannies with this first layer of the resin. And again, I've still got to be quick because it's curing, guys. But this for me is important just to make sure that I know that every part of this plaster of Paris is going to be covered in resin. And again, just moving it around, using my fingers. And I only want it to be a thin layer because I think that's where it's going to look at its best. Again, just going around the whole thing. And then we're going to do the rest of the dirty pour in a second. So the dirty pour should hopefully still stand out on top of this initial thin layer in his ears. Come on, Mr. Frankenstein. And I think this is going to be really cool. Just looking at it now. As long as I get in all these nooks and crannies to make sure that everywhere's got a thin layer, it should work. And at this point, that's all it needs to be. The pigments will do the work. The resin's going to do its work and just give us that coverage. So I've not got any of that white base. And again, don't forget his face all the way around. And then I'm going to make sure it's reasonably level. And then we're going to dirty pour the rest on. Look at this, guys. What a mess. I told you it was going to be messy. And it is. Frankenstein is going to come to life this Halloween only on CCUK Resin. Never thought I'd be doing this, massaging a Frankenstein bust with resin. Things I do on this channel to keep you guys entertained. Here we go, and I'm just going around the whole bust again. Now, I'm pretty confident now. Most of those white bits are covered. So I can then go back and do the dirty pour in a second. Again, just making sure there's no blatant white bits, because that could ruin the whole piece. And I want to make sure it's going all the way around that edge. So it looks like the whole piece is almost made out of resin, rather than that plaster of Paris base that we've got. Pretty confident now. That is covered, and I can't see any blatant white spots, even on his face, even his nostrils. It's like picking Frankenstein's nose here, guys. But obviously anywhere where the detail is where you really want to make sure you've got at least that thin layer of resin covering it, like these ears. I'm picking his ears. I think that's good to go now. So now I need to try and rest it again on here. A little bit of white there, and just massage it in. And then the final bit is going to be going over the whole thing again with what's left of my resin. Now I am going to be naughty here, guys, because these are sticky as anything now. And I'm going to just take this glove off. It's going to be easier for me to pull the rest. And here we go. I want a thin drizzle at this point, I think. And it should spread a little bit more naturally now, because of the fact it's all got that coating of resin. I'm just going to do it from the top down. And obviously it's not going to spread perfectly evenly because of the angle it's at. But hopefully it's just going to drip down, cover the whole thing, and give us a really cool effect. Look at this. Beautiful. But let me know what you think. Am I just crazy? Is this going to look good at all? Or is it going to be an absolute disaster? Anything is possible. I just thought it was a cool little experiment to celebrate Halloween as part of this Halloween collaboration with Clairescraftycorner. And you know what? I think he's turning out pretty cool. Very green, which is what I wanted. And hopefully we'll get a beautiful shine on him as well. There we go. Now I'm just looking around. If there's any details that aren't getting that extra layer of resin now, I just want to slightly massage them like so. And obviously where the ears are, the resin ain't going to go underneath there because it's elevated. But I think that's actually going to add to this effect, guys. Wow, this is so messy. Here we go, around there as well. And again, it doesn't help that I haven't got much space. And obviously he's not balancing evenly because of the fact he's just on that potato masher. But obviously the resin's going to still try and self-level as it cures, guys. So hopefully we'll still get a reasonably even coat with those different colours. And in, I don't know what, 3 hours probably, we're going to have a really cool Frankenstein piece to celebrate Halloween with. Just making sure there's no blatant white bits anywhere. And just helping that resin spread around at the back as well. And we will see what this fella cures like. And if we can bring Frankenstein to life. There we go. Pretty happy though. He's looking really cool. And I can't wait to show you this once it's all cured. But I'm liking the fact that in some areas, the plaster of Paris is still showing as well. So it shows that it's not just resin on this piece. And again, if I want to get a few drips from the drip tray and re-drip them on, why not? It means I'm not wasting any resin. So any bits that are particularly showing that plaster of Paris. And I don't even know if resin should bond to plaster of Paris, guys. Never done it before. So we'll find out. And then just a little bit around his eyes again, because that's where I can see a bit of that white sticking out. And then just on this base, just want to maneuver my finger around it so that you're not going to get any massive drips. Obviously any drips I can always sort out afterwards. And now what I want to do is just position him back the way that I want him, slightly more flat like that, and then we should be good. Getting a little bit more resin there, and that's it. So we're going to leave this guy. I'm not going to do anything else apart from let this resin cure now. Make sure that we've got some everywhere. And we've got a reasonably even coverage. And again, just checking now. Now is the way that I want him to cure. And I think we are just going to get one really cool colour. But I hope you'll agree, it's better than the white looked. If nothing else, it's better than the white looked. So here we go. Just last few drips can go on. And I think that's good. I don't think it needs any more. Maybe a bit there. And then, as I say, we're just going to leave him to cure. And it shouldn't take too long. I think we'll be there in about 3 hours with this fast cure resin. All I'm going to do is come back in about 10 minutes, put my finger around the edge to make sure there's no big drips, and then we'll be done. So I'll see you guys in about 3 hours. Then I've got to edit this. So it's going to have to be a quick edit. I'll see you guys in a sec. Scrap that, guys. I've still got a little bit left in these pots, so I just thought it'd be really cool just to show some of those different colors. To just try and go around him now in certain areas and use up the last drips of this resin and let them drip naturally down him. And then hopefully we'll see some more of those different color blends coming in to Frankenstein. Let me know what you think. Got a little bit of this one left as well. Again, no particular order. Just to sort of highlight these different colors that we've put into that undertone, I suppose. Look at this, guys. Craziness. That's that one. And again, I don't like wasting resin, so that's why I'm doing this. Look at this, guys. Oh, messy resin art. Can speed this up. As I say, just using up these last drips now. And I think it'll actually give us a two-tone effect, actually. So the top will be more patterned than the base, which actually I think is going to look really cool. Just because of the way the mold naturally goes. But again, if you want some of this colour, you can try and force it into certain areas as well. Just by tapping it on. A little bit of green on this side as well. But this is just using those last drips of resin. And hopefully this is what's going to really create that pattern now as it cures. Still got a bit of this glitter as well, so might as well. But no, I'm not. I'm going to put that in my drip mold, so I don't want to use the rest of that. That's the rest of the black. And I think this is going to just create a really cool effect. Should have gloves on at this point, but obviously I took them off because of how sticky I was. And if I don't manage to edit out every cough, I apologise, guys. Getting over the lurgy, unfortunately, but we'll get there. I didn't want to miss this opportunity to do a collab. As they say, the show must go on. Now, do I add more glitter? Dunno at this point. I'm actually really liking the way it looks, and it could spoil it. Go on, let's have some more glitter. Why not? Glitter is life, as everybody says. And again, it will just add another texture to this piece. As it all goes down his face, hopefully, wherever it lands, it will land. And get a bit on his nose. And then I think there's one more bit of glitter to go on, and then we're there. But again, if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. It's completely free to you, and it helps us grow. Without that, we don't grow on YouTube because it's the only thing that pushes it out to more people. And YouTube tells more people that hopefully you like the content, allows me to do more of these crazy experiments with resin, with eco-pour, with whatever else I can find, basically. So let me know what you think to this as well, because I am absolutely loving the way this is turning out. And I think this could be one of my favourite pieces once it's done. So again, just dripping a few bits around it so we get a bit of an even coverage. And as this cures, remember, they're all going to intermix, almost give us a marbling effect with all those different greens. Now we've got that base layer of resin on, and then I've just got one more colour to go, and then we'll be there. So this is the last of that, what's it? Yeah, hummingbird. And this should really give it a beautiful colour. Again, just letting it come out by itself. And then this is the last colour to go around. And as the resin naturally moves downwards, creating those beautiful colours, all intermixing and hopefully just looking gorgeous. This is so far, I'm so happy with it. And hopefully you guys will as well once it's cured. A little bit more there, just looking around the back. And it will look different. So the bottom half is going to look very different to the top. But again, they should work perfectly together, these colours, because the base layer that we put on is these colours mixed. So hopefully it's not going to look out of place, whatever happens. And I'm absolutely loving this. I can't tell you how good it looks. But we'll find out together once it cures in about 3 hours. So I'll see you in 3 hours. Then we're going to get a close-up of all of this. And I think you're going to be pretty happy with the result. I am. I'll see you soon. So here we go, guys. And I'm so excited for this. 3 hours later, we've got this beautiful Frankenstein. I don't know about you, but I think it's come out absolutely perfect. Part of that Halloween collaboration with Clairescraftycorner, so make sure you watch all of those videos because there's some really talented artists. But all this was all of those beautiful greens, glitters, mixed together, poured. And I think we have got a fantastic result. Just look at these colours. They're absolutely amazing. And if you can do me a favour whilst you're here, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free and it helps me grow and it helps me keep doing experiments like this. And if you can afford it, by all means join membership. But just look at this. Absolutely amazing. Those different colours, intermixing, and it shows us, do you know what? Resin does bond to plaster of Paris, so it answers that question. But look at that detail. Absolutely beautiful. And I think in this video, I think we successfully brought Frankenstein to life. Make sure you watch all of the videos in that playlist, and I'll see you on the next one. Frankenstein is alive!